President Trump is escalating his feud with America's oldest university, now seeking to cut any federal ties with Harvard, including all remaining contracts. He's already frozen $2 billion in federal grants. He's trying to block the school from enrolling international students, and now he's suggesting diverting any remaining grant money and instead wants that to fund trade schools. NewsNation national correspondent Alex Capriello joins us live. Alex, you visited with a trade school director in a Chicago suburb. How is he feeling about the president's proposal?
Well, he's very excited. In fact, he said he would be overjoyed if all of a sudden his curriculum and his students got a massive influx of money. Now, keep in mind, we're still very unclear about whether or not President Trump is actually going to follow through with this idea, and if he does, how much he would give and to whom. But it gives us an opportunity to learn more about trade schools, vocational programs, and the dire need that they have for further financing. So we're at RNR Trade Schools. This is an example of a classroom where students would learn all about repairing, replacing AC and heating units. You can see they can get their hands dirty learning all about the intricacies of the hardware and the wiring systems. And in reality, on a typical classroom day, this whole place would be packed shoulder to shoulder with students. But you can see it's relatively small. Only about 16 students or so can actually fit in here. So the director tells me if he was to get more money, then he'd be able to fill this classroom with more units. He would be able to sort of whittle down that wait list of students who want to learn a new skill, a new trade, and make that their new career. And the fact of the matter is, there are tens of thousands of Americans who are hungry for an education, but may not have the means or the desire to pursue traditional university schooling. Well, that's where vocational training can be the perfect fit. For a fraction of the cost, you can learn a new trade that will be in high demand for the rest of your career. Things like electrical engineering, construction, and plumbing. There are around 9,000 trade and technical schools in the country, employing more than 100,000 people and generating $16 billion worth of revenue. But here's the thing. There's a major funding gap when it comes to federal financing. The U.S. government spends around $140 billion on higher education, but only $28 billion of it, that's roughly 20%, goes to trade schools. While giving me a tour of this school, RNR Trade School Director Chris Martinez emphasized the importance his education is providing to America's working class.
A lot of guys, men and women, need this opportunity, especially a lot of young people coming fresh out of high school. They do need this opportunity, and we see it all the time when they come in here, super confused on what they're going to do with the rest of their life. And they come in here and they just feel more confident at the end of the program, and they're very grateful at the end of the day. Now they're able to provide for their family.
And Nicole, enrolling in a trade school typically costs around 25%, a quarter of the cost it would for traditional university programming. And you can typically get your degree or your certificate in about a year to 3 years, sometimes even less. Like, for example, here at RNR Trade Schools, a lot of these students are graduating in about 6 months' time, ready to hit the workforce.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.